Hi, I'm Vanessa Anderson.
And I'm Stephanie Cooley.
It's time to give ourselves a moment to be real, to express all of motherhood.
Mothering is beautiful. It's wonderful.
And you know what? It's fucked up too.
Come hang out with us. We're the real motherfuckers. Hello, everyone. I am Stephanie.
And I am Vanessa.
And welcome to the Real Motherfuckers. Happy summer. Today we are going to be talking about vacation with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. We all have thoughts, adventures, nightmares, regrets. Yeah. It's a loaded one. We decided to do this one because Vanessa just got back from a vacation with her kids. I had some mini staycations with my kids, and I've traveled with my kids, I think, more than maybe others have. Mm-hmm. And I think that we both have we all have visions of what we would like vacation to be.
Totally.
And sometimes they're met, sometimes, probably a lot of times, they're not met. But I think that this is a good topic because we've all been through it.
Yes. Or you're about to. Maybe you're thinking it's time for you to start traveling.
Yeah.
And there's different times for that for different reasons. And yeah, we'll just see who.
So can you tell us about your vacation? Where did you go?
Sure. So this is the first time our family has had a flight longer than 3 hours.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I realized that.
We would go to Texas a lot to visit family. We've gone to
Washington. But you've done long road trips with your family.
Yes, road trips.
Which is something we don't have very much experience with.
So I do have more experience with road trips than I do with flights with my children. So I'll just back up to my most recent vacation and then I'll go into the road trip one. But I did do. That's a lie. I did a trip with Olivia to New Hampshire, but she was a baby, and I felt like it was easier the way I carried her in the ergo and was able to nurse her and be in my lap. But as far as our current family, with someone being over the age of 5, 6, and 9, I felt like that was the appropriate time to be on a flight that required them to be patient and for them to be able to have that duration. We went to Hawaii from San Diego, which was a direct flight. We went to the Big Island, and it was awesome. It was something that we had been planning since before COVID, because we were actually going to go for a wedding, for my best friend's wedding, and COVID happened. So that was completely canceled on us. So it was like a redo vacation.
Yeah.
The kids did great. We did prepare them for the duration of what it was going to be. We picked a certain time slot of when we were leaving so that they had time to move, eat, and prepare ourselves before we even got on the plane, so it wasn't a weird hour. We had different activities that they chose that they would enjoy on the airplane before we got on there. So, coloring, Legos. We don't really watch TV, so it was a treat for them to watch something new on the plane. So that's how we got through the flight, and we also talked to each other, played games. So we got there, we got to the Big Island. It was dinner time, our time by the time we landed, and we did pre-make a meal to go on the plane as well for lunch, so that was awesome. We landed, we got our rental car, and we were so relieved to finally get to the rental car. Guess what happened?
What?
Ryan forgot his backpack on the fucking shuttle, and it went back to the airport. So we had our car, and he's like, in that
what's in that backpack?
Our car keys to our car here in San Diego. Didn't have his wallet, but it had like our tablets in there and some stuff that would have been hard to replace. So I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be a good girl, or a good woman. And I was like, I'll help you with this. But in the bottom of my mind, I'm like, son of a bitch. We're already pushing it. Like, we all want to just be at the hotel and be done with these steps.
Yeah.
So I go up to this lady and she radios it in to the shuttle drivers. And the first one we thought had it, but he didn't. So we had to wait for the second. So then we kind of had that. And we're trying not to be at each other's faces.
And it's hot when you land.
It is hot as fuck.
Yeah. It's hot.
Balls be sticking to people's legs if you got balls.
Yeah.
It was hot. So
Sorry, I'm just thinking about balls now.
I was thinking about balls. I was the ones walking around like, what's it doing? But anyway, long story, we get into the Jeep and we are excited and we get to our hotel, beautiful, everything's great. We get to see the volcano and the big island. I mean, all that was just magical. We got to stay in this tree house the next day, which was amazing. I found it on Airbnb and it was truly cool. It was off the grid. So that, like, one of my friends goes, that was so magical. I said, let me just tell you the truth. And I meant to post this, by the way. So if you follow me, I'll probably be posting it now that you'll see why I haven't posted it here in a minute. But it's off the grid.
Uh-huh.
So the water that's used for showering and drinking, which is really cool, and there was plenty of it, comes from the rainfall. It's collected into this tank.
Okay.
The second part is it's on solar. So after a certain amount of time into the night, we have a sound machine. The sound machine goes dead. All the power's off at 10:30.
Yeah.
Because the sun's down and that's all it had reserves.
Yeah.
So you have to have a generator the next morning to start up to have electricity and stuff like that. I didn't think about that part.
Yeah.
I'm glad my husband knows how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So that part was cool. But the fucking birds in the tree. I did not sleep one wink, everybody. You know, there's this fantasy of being in a tree. Well, birds live in fucking trees.
Yeah.
And the birds in Hawaii party at night. I didn't get one good motherfucking ounce of sleep that night. And my sound machine goes off right when I come to go on my sleep. So I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I know I'm complaining, but that was my biggest complaint. It was still magical. The kids had, and I had a great time. It was a cool
But
experience.
that's the hard part about vacation is that we want to always be, this has to be a happy moment. This has to be, you know, but like the reality of vacation is it's like you live life and life isn't always happy, even if you're on vacation, especially if you're on vacation. You're somewhere new. You're somewhere like everything's off. The time is off. The food is off. The schedule's off.
You're shitting.
And you're expecting yourself to be happy because it's vacation.
Totally. And I know I can't shit. And I'm somewhere.
Yes.
I was like, I could not take shit.
Yeah.
So,
and you're eating all the delicious food. You're like, I'm just making a huge ass pile in my belly right now. And
totally.
not pooping.
And bloating. You're trying to look sexy. Not happening. So, on top of that, my son falls off the bed in the middle of the night. We're upstairs. We have to go down these windy ass stairs that take all concentration or you're going to eat shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were all off, but we were okay in the morning. It was fun. Got to walk the volcano, which has been on my bucket list for years. It's been to see a volcano. We missed the eruption by 2 days. I was so bummed. There was an actual eruption, but it was still smoldering and stuff. Super cool. Kids loved it. We dug it. My kids, I'm so proud of them. They walked 4.5 miles and we did it in the rain too.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't even have gear on. Kids were in Crocs. I'm in like these other shoes.
Yeah.
We were just like doing it. We fly to Maui a day later, 3-4 days into the big. Everything's great. Meet my brother there with his family. And day 3 in Maui, man, I get fucking sick. Like really sick. I get the shingles. I'm so fucking bummed because my expectation is we're snorkeling.
Yes.
I've got this, beautiful place to enjoy. I'm having to like quarantine myself because, one of my
you don't know what it is at first.
At first, I did not know what it was. I was like, what is this? I got a fever. I got chills. I had the worst headache. I thought of you with your, was it the tumor behind your eye? Or
yeah, it was, yeah.
So I had a headache. Yes, I had a headache that was particularly behind my left eye the whole time, like it was pushing it out. I'm like, are you serious? Do I got what Steph had? I was freaking out. I'm like, whatever. I'm by myself. My family's snorkeling. I'm in this dark room throwing up because of the headache. So I was like so upset that this special quality time that I'm supposed to have with my family.
Yes.
I'm fucking throwing up. I'm trying to make the road to Hana and I'm like dying in the front seat. You all.
Do you feel like there was so much more of a weight of having the pressure to have a good experience because you've been waiting for this long for this vacation?
Yes. And I had such high expectations all around just to spend that time with my husband, and he had worked so hard, 8-9 days straight before we even got to go on this trip because we were going to just go. So it was, and me too. I mean, we worked on this podcast
right up until we left.
Big time. I mean, I was working till midnight doing things for this just so we could have those breaks.
Yeah.
And other aspects of my life that I had to work on. So it's like I was telling you when I got back, I'm like, I think I have ramped up my life so much in great ways. I love what I'm doing, but it's still taking a lot of me to do these things, energy without breaks.
Yeah.
That when my body finally got to relax, it released what I know now is shingles. I got shingles in fucking Hawaii. And
shingles is basically like you get it if you've had the chicken pox before,
Yes.
and basically the virus still is in your system, and then
Yes.
it comes out when you're on vacation, apparently, because my husband had shingles in Hawaii too a few years ago, which is so bizarre.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we both had it in the same spot.
Yep.
I had it between my chest. It looks like a blister. You know, it's like a blister that bubbled up. And then later I had one right here above my bangs, like almost the center of my head, and it hurt so bad. It felt like a really bad zit.
Yeah.
You know, and when it started going away, it itched like the chicken pox. So yeah, that was great. You know, my brother was like, "Don't fucking come near me. Wear a t-shirt." And I'm like, "I didn't bring fucking t-shirts. I brought tank tops.
And bathing suits.
I was not planning for this shit." And I totally get it. So I went to the desk. I got like bandages. I was wearing my husband's t-shirts and my brother's.
Oh my
I was like isolated, but I got better. I didn't get to do some of the activities that I wanted to do with my family, but you know, it's life. And I think my body was saying, I get to finally release everything I've been holding. I feel like our bodies hold on till the very end. And when you can relax, it's like your true body, right? I hadn't been sick in a while. So it just released. And I do have to say I'm tired because when we got home, we got like hit with the same thing. Your family got hit, like a fever and cold thing. So I got better and then I got worse again. But I feel like my body is where it needs to be now. I needed to release whatever that was, and my body told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know I was at that point because I do all those maintenance things, but it still happens.
Yeah.
And it's out of our control. So it was for me to just say, this is what it is. My daughter came to me crying because she wanted me to go snorkeling with them. And it was like I had that part, which was horrible. When she left, I'm crying. I'm like, this is sucks.
Yeah. And you don't cry.
I don't, but I did. I was like, when she left, I was like, man, kind of feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
Feeling
It's
sorry
okay
for
to feel
them.
sorry for yourself.
I'm looking outside the window. Everyone's fucking having their fabulous time of their life, and I'm over here with fucking herpes on my chest. Son of a bitch, you know. And not only that, every day you're like, that fucking $1 that I just spent for be here, and I'm in hell.
Yeah,
you know. But we be up until that point, beautiful time. It was fun, and even after I started getting better, I would find moments where I could still be out in the patio with them and eat my dinner there and, you know, enjoy the sunsets and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was our first big trip, you know, over the Pacific Ocean, which I hate going over the ocean. I have a fear of flying over water because I'm like, emergency landing, what the fuck you gonna do?
Yeah.
You are shark food. Coast Guard ain't gonna find your floating turd. You are not gonna be found. You know, at least over land, you can fucking land in some field or some shit. I hate flying over the ocean. It was worth it. I have been to Hawaii before. It was definitely awesome to go with my kids. But I did choose to go when they're older, so they were able to do the hiking and the snorkeling.
Right.
You know, for our family, I didn't choose to do something for that duration of a flight and for that duration of activities because I knew my kids would not be physically able to do those things yet.
Yeah.
Because we're an adventurous kind of family.
Yeah.
Or would they have the stamina to do that? And I wanted them to have that first experience of doing those things and being confident in them and wanting to do them again for the future.
Right. I think that there's this idea that we get about what vacation is going to be like with small children. You're just hopeful that they'll hang on and do well. But when they're that little, you will experience whatever they do at home, they're going to do it like that outside and worse because they're tired and they're hungry or whatever. Everything's off. I went to Hawaii with my kids when my youngest was 2. And on the flight back, it was a great trip. We didn't do a lot of the adventurous things because my kid is 2. But we did a lot of beach hopping and stuff like that. But by the end of the trip, we chose a flight where it was at nighttime in hopes that our kids would go to sleep on the red eye.
Don't do that.
Right. And so at we're already at the airport. Everybody's tired. We're in the plane. My son needs to go to bed because it's 11 p.m. and he's exhausted. And he was a big baby. And I brought the ergo carrier thing. So I'm putting this child, this basically half the size of me, onto me. And he's so not, quote, tired. And he's I put him on me and I'm like, okay, go to sleep. And he's like, no. And he's screaming and he's punching me and he's like pushing me away. And it's loud. And I'm in an airplane with a crowd full of people, like a full plane. And the way that I can fit him while I'm wearing him in front of me is I have to turn toward everybody on the plane. So I'm looking at everybody's faces and everybody's faces are just looking down. They don't want to make eye contact with the lady with the crazy baby.
You were the one.
I'm the lady on the plane that everybody's like, I thought I was just going to have a nice sleep on my way home for my nice vacation.
Yeah, expectations, motherfucker.
Yeah. So then I'm holding him, he's screaming, and I'm like, trying to relax and do the bouncy mom thing and like whisper, shut the fuck up. And I'm like about to lose it, right? And I'm about to lose it and I'm bouncing and everybody's face is down and I look up and there's this one woman way in the back and she like waits to make eye contact with me. And she's like, you got this. And as soon as she did that, I was like, crying tears of like, thank you for seeing me and supporting me. And he eventually fell asleep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, right when he fell asleep, I had to pee so bad.
Oh, shit.
And there was probably like 4 hours left on that flight.
Dude.
So that's what happens.
Oh my God.
That's what happens.
So you had to pee. And my girl Steph likes to sleep. She was sleep deprived. So not a good mixture.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So did you hold your pee?
I did.
Did you have a UTI when you were done with that trip?
No, thank God.
God
Yeah,
damn.
I'm surprised.
So
I am
wear
surprised.
the pens
Yeah.
if you have that plan.
Yes, wear the pens.
I'm
On the
serious.
plane. Yeah.
That'd be fucking piss.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, no, I only, like I said, I only did the Texas flight, but I have done 10 to 11 hour trips on the car with my kids.
How was that?
You just got to plan your stops.
Right.
And we did it when they were younger too. So especially my son's always been a mover, and I always knew, man, every 2 hours we got to find some place for him to run.
Yeah.
For him to be, and it's actually healthy for us too.
Yeah.
To move a little bit. So we would look at the interstate we were going on, and I would check out the exits, and my husband and I would scout out playgrounds.
Oh, wow, you would do playgrounds.
Yeah. We would eat there.
I think my problem is when I do road trips, I just want to get there.
Yeah.
And part of the trip, then maybe I should think about it, is the journey there is part of the vacation.
It is. So we would look at museums.
Yeah.
Just like that. We've even stopped one time at Museum Arizona because and then we had to go in summertime. I don't know why to Arizona, but my son was 1.5, 2 years old. We went to a trampoline park. It was off our beaten path, about 20 minutes, but worth it.
Yeah.
Because he wore himself out,
Yeah.
and then it was time for nap, and that gave us an extra 3 hours to travel. So it was just like strategically planning when we left in the morning.
Yeah.
Having food ready, and having those emergency stops.
Right.
Those emergency landings on land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that worked out for us. It was good, but then sometimes even when you plan, that shit goes down. Like there's a video of my daughter, and we were laughing at it. We were watching old videos, and she's in the back with an apple, and my son, you can tell this is the end of the trip because I don't give sweets. He's got 2 Mexican lollies in his hand. He's about 2, and he's looking at her because she's like, and there's Baby Shark playing in the background, and it's like chaos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to film this for some reason.
Yes.
I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
And then I zoom into that, and then I zoom into my husband driving, and he's just like grinning and shaking his head like, this is our fucking life right now. And we were all dying laughing, like to get that moment and how far we've come in travel.
Yes.
It's been great. But my son was just like looking at his sister like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But it happens. We all have our meltdowns. And that's kind of why another reason I wanted to bring this up was I think everyone should travel when you're ready. But this is my personal advice.
Okay.
I saw, just imagine, some of these children didn't just come from the West Coast that landed when we landed. Some of them might have come from the East Coast or the Midwest, and they had extra time in the airplane. I saw 2-year-olds and maybe and a 4-year-old. This was a particular family that was next to us. Mom and dad were already burnt out from landing.
Yeah.
They still we all had to walk 5, I think it was 4 blocks to our rental car.
Right.
The little trolley that takes you was full, so a lot of us just said, let's keep walking. That family chose. We were behind them for most of the time. And I felt so bad for everybody in that family. Mom was done. She had 2 big O-ass suitcases. Dad had 2 big O-ass suitcases walking ahead. These children were done. It was clearly that this maybe 2-year-old, maybe younger, was crying and wanted to connect with mom. Mom's like, quit being a baby, keep going, no compassion.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick up that little girl,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like we've all been there as parents. I'm not judging this mom. Dad gets in on it, tells both kids to stop crying, that, you know, get over it. There was no pause of, I get it, you're tired. It was like all of them wanted to get through to it. Get that car and just move on with their perfect vacation.
Yeah.
Right? But, you know, what if they did pause and hold the child for just a second?
Right.
Or was that too much for that family to do?
Yeah.
You know, it's being realistic, and the whole advertisement we get of these commercials of these families smiling and you know, and we do have those moments, but there's also this reality to travel.
Yeah.
You know? And so that made me think, damn, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
In our podcast, when I saw that little girl and the mom was upset, and you could tell she was just fucking over life, you know? And I felt bad for all of them.
Right.
And I thought, I know this is not what you envisioned, or this is not your even intention to be this way.
Yeah.
But everyone's at their edge. You haven't been sleeping. You're off your rhythm. You're probably hungry.
Yeah.
You're tired, everything. So it's just, how do you set yourself up knowing your family's rhythm and knowing what your children are capable of?
Yeah.
So maybe start slow.
And also what you're capable of.
And what we're capable of.
I have started to do this. I started this when we went on our trip to Italy last year. It was weighing on me a lot. Just, we're going to take a really big trip. It was a large group of us. It was me, my 2 kids, my nephew. We brought our nanny. Thank God for my nanny. We really brought her. She had a great time. She wasn't full-time nanny mode when she was with us. We brought her so that she can take our kids back to America with her. And my husband and I can enjoy a solo trip for a week. And even with having a nanny there, I also knew the reality, like, we're all human beings. All of us are going to be jet lagged. All of us are going to have, you know, even though I had help, I knew what things were going to be off, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had kind of did this like little meditation with myself of like telling myself that I'm going to embrace all of it. And I remembered I wrote a journal entry about it, if I can read about it.
Go for
So
it.
this is right before we left to Italy last year. I said, I'm going to enjoy the travel with my kids, all the fun times, all the figuring things out as we go along, all the hard, sleepy, and tired times, all the whining, all the asking to go back home, all the fun, crazy times with our friends, all the jet lag, all the food, the amazing food, all the feeling of stress or feeling sad and need to push through, or the stress of the unknown. All the new things that we'll see, all the Italian we will listen to. So, you know, you can get the sense from my journal entry of we're going to enjoy it, or we're going to embrace. We don't have to necessarily enjoy it, but we're going to expect it, and we're going to live through the good and the bad. And I think that going in with that kind of mindset really helped.
Mm-hmm.
Both my kids got very sick.
You got COVID.
They got COVID during the trip. I did not feel well for part of it. And, my husband and I were talking about how, like, when our son got sick first, instead of being like, fuck, we got sick, we decided, hey, you know what? This is like one of the first times that we're both not working. Because a lot of times we would work while we're on vacation. We're both not working, and we have this time to cuddle with our son while he's not feeling well. And so we embraced that. Like, we're like, we get to cuddle with our kid and not have any distraction.
Yeah,
so
be present for him.
We looked at it that way, and we enjoyed it that way. So I think that maybe if you don't have just the rose-colored lenses before you go on vacation, take them off and see what's really going to happen.
Yeah.
Then you can be better prepared for all of the things that come with vacation.
I love that advice. And I love that entry that you were already real about it.
Yeah.
That's so great. Yeah, your flight was double, triple mine. That's crazy. I think this was my tester because that's where we're heading. You know what I mean? It was our tester to see if we were ready, and I feel like the Andersons got the green light. We're going to be going international to Europe probably next summer. So yes, I think that you should do test trips.
Yeah. I did a test trip where I majorly fucked up. I can tell you about that.
Go for it.
Everybody is probably going to fucking judge me. Oh, well.
We can judge no matter what on this motherfucker.
When my daughter was probably 1.5, we flew to New York. I had a work trip, or it was a trip with the company that I was with at the time, and they did a retreat in New York. So I was like, let's make a whole trip out of it. Like, I'll go to the retreat first with my company, and then my family will meet me there. So I did the retreat. Gabe and the kids flew to meet me in New York, or actually it was just one kid at the time, to meet me in New York. And I had done a lot of drinking with my whole company. They revolved all of the like social events around drinking. So I was drinking heavily at the time. And by the time I was with Gabe, like we kept the drinking going. And then by the time we flew back home, guess what? Gabe and I were fucking hungover, on the flight back.
Yeah.
And our daughter was up and at it, going around being a 1.5-year-old who can walk and like go, like be a cute kid. But when you're hungover, you're not feeling good. Mm-hmm. And I, had these like expectations of like, maybe she'll go to sleep. She didn't go to sleep on the flight back. And so I did the thing where I was like, maybe I should just give her a little bit of Benadryl. And so I gave her a little bit of Benadryl. And I don't know if you guys know this, but some kids get the other reaction. They don't get sleepy. It actually like hypes them up. And so our daughter was off the walls. So it's basically the world telling, the universe telling me, this is what you get for trying to drug your child.
Yeah, you got 2 middle fingers for that shit.
And I'm not a person who I don't give pain reliever if I don't have to.
Same. No, but damn, that was desperation.
Yeah. That was me and my higher drinking days. And like, I'm so hungover, I don't know what to do. I'm in an airport. Like, if this is my first kid, I was also had this like, I don't want to have everyone like feel bothered by us kind of thing. I think that's another thing. Fuck all the people that you think about on the plane and that you're bothering them.
Yeah.
They also know they're taking the risk and going on a plane with other kids. So
yeah, that's right. Save up for a private jet, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a good point. There's some people that already are offended that you're on the plane when you walk in with your kids before your kid even does anything. I had a lady, Olivia was 7 months old. She was in my ergo, and I went by myself. I flew from San Diego to Omaha when my parents lived there, but I had a layover in Vegas. Anyway, long story short, I sat down on the layover to Vegas, which all of us had to run because we were late.
Oh my gosh, yep.
And people were so nice. There's also beautiful people out there like the lady that said, "I got your back." There's a couple gentlemen and family that helped me with my carry-ons, and we were all running together. I had Olivia, we were running. And then I get in the plane to my assigned seat, and this lady, as soon as I sit down, she looks at me, she goes, "I don't like kids." And so she got up and moved. And I'm like, I didn't even know what to say.
Why did you have to say that?
I don't know, man. I wish I could go back in time.
Oh my gosh. I know. one of those times when you can think of like 10 really good comebacks.
Yeah, I just looked at her because at that point I was just relieved to be on a seat and not have to stay the night in Vegas with a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, fuck, whatever. You know, and then the lady next to me is like, that lady has issues. You know, I was like, yeah, she does. Like she's got some healing to do if she hates children. So just that, going back to what you said, fuck people. We're just people who do, like that lady didn't eat, my kid was asleep when we got on. Like, get a life, you know? Anyway, I had no idea that travel would be like this. I did and I didn't with kids because my husband and I liked traveling before we had children. And I do remember being tired and all that stuff, but it was just you had to deal with. You know what I mean? So there's a lot. I have some statistics I'd like to share, and then I know Steph has really good tips about traveling.
Yeah. It'll be my just the tip.
Yes. So we'll go first. So this is from the U.S. Statistics at statista.com. This was done in 2015. They did a survey on parents in the United States. It was a different one for the UK. Numbers were still similar, but anyway, it was the preferred age to travel with your children. I really wanted to know the statistics on this, just from what I saw. 0, so newborn to 3 years old, 15% of parents said that there were only 15% that traveled with them. 3 to 5 year olds, it went up to 37%. And the age group that my kids are in, 6 to 9, 73% started traveling. Okay. It goes up again from 10 to 12, but it drops from 13 to 16. And I thought, why the hell is this? Why does this happen? I read further into the article and it made sense. It goes back to our overscheduling episode. These children have so many extracurricular activities that define who they are. And if that's what they're on, no judgment, keep going. But because of that overscheduling and commitment to extracurricular activities, the family decides not to travel to accommodate that, which I feel is sad for me. That you're not seeing the world and not bonding with your children, and they're not bonding with you. For maybe something is going to come of a career, maybe if it's a soccer thing or whatever, no judgment. But I really do think there has to be a pause in life for all of you to come together for those snuggles, for those, life-changing experience that will be ingrained in your child's mind and your heart the rest of your lives. I'm not saying you have to go on vacation, but it's more intentional when you do those things. Yeah. Right?
I can see how you're saying, I can see your opinion. I think that maybe what it is that I would do, because if I had a child when they're 13 and like so passionate about whatever, let's say a sport, and it is intense and, they can't play if they don't show up to practice. Yeah. But there are breaks in those sports, and find those breaks and be a little bit more flexible with like, okay, like, is there some shorter trips that we can do together?
Yeah.
So that we can connect and bond or
make it work. Once this is another statistic and it was a book that I read. So I'll either have to find the resource for it later, but I've said this several times in other conversations I've had with moms or parents. The books have said that you will spend 90% of the time you'll spend with your children, your whole life and their whole life while you're alive, when they're 18. 90%.
When they're 18 or before
from being born to 18. Okay, yeah. That'll be 90% of the time that you spend with your children.
Right. Yeah.
So you got 10% after 18.
Yeah.
And after that, it's not how many years you have with each other. It's how many times you have with each other. That was mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
That's what's changed my perspective on where my budget is for my family to do these things. It's been life-changing to hear that statistic for me.
Right.
So I think vacations are very important. I want to say you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. You should have a budget that matches your family's budget. I don't believe you should go into debt for vacation. I feel you should either save. And the reason I'm saying that is There's no, you go on this vacation to de-stress. It is so stressful if you have.
Well, you have to, when you
If you
come
have
back,
the
you know
debt.
that you have to deal with paying for it.
And debt, yeah. If you can prepay certain things, like pay for your hotel 8 months before, pay for your tickets 3 months after that, or however you can budget it out, and then save the rest for booking your activities a couple months before if that's in your budget. So that's paid for. And then saving the rest, because food is huge when you go out, when you're out of your home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even like buying groceries in Hawaii, I was like, $12 for
Oh my
fucking
gosh,
strawberries.
the Hawaii is the worst.
I
At that.
wanted to die. This is a Californian saying, this is fucking expensive. I was like, fuck, we ain't having strawberries on this trip. $12. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, it's just being realistic about those things. And there, like I said, it should be a happy time. And if you can budget that out according to your budget or save, I absolutely think it's worth it for you to come back and not have a penny owed, you know, and just start fresh. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people even finance their shit. Like, I know even locally, Disneyland's like $5,000 when it's all said and done for fucking 2 days of a family of 4. Middle finger to you, Disneyland. I think that shit is overpriced. And
I always have these visions of families going to Disneyland and spending like so much money there, and then there's just this pressure to have a good time because you spent a fortune on it, and I just feel so bad.
Yeah, and then you're in line for an hour and a half. I know. You go on 5 fucking rides. You know? Do you know that parking at Disneyland is $80 now?
What? I haven't been to Disneyland since I was in high school.
So I don't know. Been to Disneyland, this is California telling you. I love Disneyland, but I'm not ready for Disneyland with my kids. We went for free because my husband got some passes. Thank God it's fucking free. No. It was a horrible experience. I'll get into that another time. It just was not fun. Kids should not be expected to be in a line for 90 plus minutes.
Well, I also can't do an amusement park for that long. I'm like if I can do an amusement park for 3 hours and then go home, that would be great.
Not at Disneyland. That's one ride. Because guess what? You're in line to park your car. You're going to pay $80 to be in that line. Then you got to be in line to get on the trolley and get to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Then you got to be in another line to get your tickets. Then you got to be in another line to get in the park.
Yeah.
And then if there's a cute princess, you're in another line to see that fucking princess. And you haven't even ridden one fucking ride. And then you get hungry by then. And guess what? That $30 hamburger better taste yummy. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I feel like your prices should match your experience. Lower your prices because they're ripping your ass off there. It ain't no Magic Kingdom. Fuck that. So sorry, Disneyland, but this is some opinions from a mom that y'all need to work out. You need to work it out.
Yep.
But anyway, let me get positive here. The benefits of vacationing with your family.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you discover other cultures and experience it. I think that is so important for us human beings to live in other people's like lives for a bit. Their rhythms, their customs, their language, their food, their art. I think it's amazing. Slowing down, you know, and then it's also ignites a sense of adventure. It does for our family. You're going places you've never been, so you're already an adventure finding the place. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that you're interested in going with it. We have our kids plan what we want to do together, so they're just as excited. So they look forward to it.
You said slowing down. When you go on vacation, you feel like you're slowing down sometimes.
Oh, fuck yeah. I don't have to do my yard. I don't have to, you know, I go out to eat more.
I think I'm thinking of, I've done this and I've learned from it, is I think a lot of people deal with this, is overscheduling their vacation, where you're hopping from one thing to the next because you want to experience all the things, but you don't realize like a vacation. How many of you said, when you come back from a vacation with your kids, I need a vacation for my vacation?
Yep. And it depends on what kind of vacation, right?
Yeah.
I kind of learned just from what me and my husband are doing that, you know, we make sure we work out even when we are on vacation in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
We plan our excursion or whatever in the middle of the day so we can sleep in if we want. And our excitement's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to dinner time, it's unwinding. We can go swimming.
So you do like one activity a day.
One
Right.
main activity in the
I like
middle
that.
of the day, because
Yeah.
it depends on your time zone, where your sleep
Yeah.
is. It helps.
Yeah.
I used to plan excursions before children first thing in the morning, and I'm like, son of a bitch, this is a 3-hour difference. It's earlier. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, it's 3 a.m. right now where I live, you know, and it does mess with you,
Yeah.
you know? So anyways, that really helped. We also, I don't know, we just expand our social awareness when we're on an airplane with others. The kids learn that they're not the center of the universe, that they're sharing space with others. So it's learning manners, it's learning courtesy, it's learning when you get to, you know, for our instance, the Hawaiian Islands, they have their own customs, they have their own way they speak, they have their own ways they do things. And I feel like they were super polite too. It was really nice. My son got a gist of it. He started holding elevators open for others.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
He helped an elderly woman with some, like, it was just really sweet to see this kindness that my child has now that he's older. We do model that. My husband definitely is a gentleman, opens doors. So it was just beautiful to see him in that role.
Yeah.
And be so proud that he's doing these
You
kind
can
of
see
things.
him truly out in the wild doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my daughter too, you know, she offered to, you know, go downstairs and haul these, because there was filtered water. We would filter our water, and she, you know, in the morning, I'll do it. I want to do it by myself. I'm like, okay. You know, she had to go down the elevator, and then, you know, so I'm like looking, I'm giving her freedom, but I'm peeking because I kind of, you know, so it's just, it was good to see them grow in that aspect.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's what I have to say about that. And
cool.
Yeah.
I like those a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have some tips. My just the tip is not for me. And it is from someone who's super, super seasoned with traveling. I have a dear friend, Caitlin Zaff, who has 3 kids, and her oldest has traveled to 30 countries, about 30 countries.
That's a lot.
They are big travelers. Do not have set them as a bar. They're crazy. They're crazy.
Olympian
Yeah.
Vacation, family vacation.
But she has some great tips from, you know, all of this travel, and she has a lot of them. I'll post more of these, but I'm going to give the highlights that I thought were really helpful. The first one is, we used to always book a full row, but with multiple kids, it can work well to break the family up into 2 rows. I have not thought of this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It offers some one-on-one time, less fighting and competition, and divides up the work. Put the most unruly child in the back row, so the inevitable seat kicking only affects your family. Oh my God, my mind is fucking blown by that one.
All of us keep telling our kids, don't kick the seat. And, you know, all our kids get that look from the old griping motherfucker in front of them.
Yep. Okay, here's another one. When our kids were toddlers and below, we would not board early. One parent boards early to put the carry-ons away, and the toddler can walk run until the last call. Hello, yes. So they can have like all the running room they want. You don't want to like stick them in. You know, you have the ability to board first, but then your kid's stuck on the plane, not moving for a little bit longer. You want to get
their wiggles
out as much as you can. Love that one. These are for a little bit older kids. We try to let our kids push their own luggage, carry their backpack, and walk as much as possible so they feel independent. I love this next one. Before a trip, we talk as a family about where we're going. We look at photos, talk about the food, things we want to see, the native language, etc. This started simple, ways to get them excited, and now we give our oldest research projects before we go so she can educate herself and us on various topics.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really beautiful way to just have your kids truly understand the privilege of travel. You know, people being able to travel is a huge privilege.
It's a huge privilege.
I think, you know, there's so many families that don't get to, and that don't get to see the world for financial reasons or whatever reasons. And I think that us entering ourselves into a different culture, it's our responsibility to understand what we're walking into, and, you know, making sure that we respect their their ways and their culture and not try to imprint our American ways on, wherever we go.
Absolutely. And I do similar. We homeschool part-time. So we did study about the volcanoes because we were, doing volcanoes, hurricanes, all the natural disasters before we left. And it is a different experience because my kids were like, oh, this is where the magma flowed. Oh, this is this. And it does bring more magic.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
It does.
Okay. Next one. Packing cubes. Okay.
I'm waiting. What the fuck is this?
I gave Vanessa a little preview. I was like, packing cubes. She's like, what is that? I was like, oh my God, what? You don't know what packing cubes are? That has changed my life. Okay, so my friend said, I can't believe I used to travel without them. I know, same here. So they're basically little individual smaller bags that are shaped in cubes or rectangles or whatever, and you can better organize your whole suitcase by like whatever category it is. So I used to put like the kids shirts in one, the kids shorts in one, the kids whatever in one, and when you take it out they're all organized.
Oh my God.
And you can still do your little rolly thing I roll and put them in each of those cubes. She says it keeps us organized so you don't have to throw everything out in a huge pile while looking for one outfit. Also, less is more with clothes, except for underwear, where you always need twice as much.
Yeah, we don't want no stinky bags. We know that.
Okay, so there's another one. This is for ones who are traveling to other time zones where there's going to be a time shift. There is an app that I used called the Time Shifter app. And it's basically an app where you put your flight times. And the app knows where you're going, what time you're going to land, all of that. And it depends on where you're going, but a few days before it tells you what kind of like your sleep schedule should be, so that by the time you get to your destination, you won't experience jet lag. So it basically slowly integrates you into the time zone that you're going to be in before you get there. So this worked when we went to Italy last year. When our kids got there, they were on Italian time zone.
That is so cool.
So it's like at the beginning of the trip, you're like, I'm a zombie right now because, and I'm trying to assimilate to the time there. And then you feel like you're kind of wasting your time there because you didn't allot for jet lag time.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, when you told me about this app a year ago, I was blown away. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because when you got back, we were going to get together and you're like, we're still adjusting to the time. Like you were getting up at like 5 a.m. or something, right? Yeah. You guys were kind of recalibrating yourselves. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really do.
It works. But it works only if you follow it. If you kind of like loosey-goosey, it's harder. Wherever we go, we always at least learn the words for hello, please, and thank you. It goes a long way to show some courtesy in a new culture. It can also lead to really sweet interactions with people. And with Google Translate easily available on your phone, there's really excuse not to. And then the other thing, let's wrap this up with like remembering these trips. So photo books are a great way to remember the trip as a family. We print them out after a trip or series of trips, and our kids continually flip through them, and we get to talk about the fun things we've done together.
So old school.
Yeah. And it's so easy too. You just like select then hit print, and whoever to like printer service provider you want, Shutterfly or whatever.
Yeah. It's amazing. And it is more memorable. When you put it on a disc, I feel like it dies.
Yeah.
Unless you have nights where you say, hey, let's look at photos.
Yeah.
But something tangible is a more sensory, sensory experience. So
can we end with one trip where you felt like proud as like a mom traveling with your kids?
I felt like it was this last one.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I was so proud of my kids. They did have their own their big old luggages. They carried their own. They had their own backpacks. They didn't fight. They would tell us what they needed. They sat next to each other the whole time.
That is awesome.
With one of us next to them, and we would rotate.
Yeah.
And we got home at midnight, and they were just troopers, dude. Waiting. They were more troopers than I was when we got to San Diego. I was a cranky ass mess when we got to San Diego because
shingles.
Yeah, probably. I was like over it.
Yeah.
But they were just so the way you're supposed to feel after a vacation. They were so happy and proud and ready to be home, but patient.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That's great.
It is. What about you?
I went on a trip in March with my kids, and it was just me and my 2 kids. So I went solo, and we went to Seattle together. And it was just a great trip where, again, beforehand, I probably journaled about this. I didn't look actually, but I meditated about how I'm going to embrace all of it. It's going to be hard because I'm by myself with 2 kids on a flight, and it's going to be cold because when we went there, it was cold. And we just had a good time. We just kind of rolled with everything. And they're also the same age, 6 and 8. So they were able to do more things. But I felt like we all were just so cohesive, and I feel like we all fed off each other with our energies.
Yeah. And it's great. And it's just about.
And it started with me because I had the energy of like, let's go with it.
Yeah. There was when we have a perception of reality and then or we have a perceived expectation and it doesn't meet reality, that's when we start getting all cranky.
Yeah.
We just say, flight's been delayed.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yeah.
Let's get creative.
Yeah.
Let's try that new pastry or make it exciting or whatever it is. But I do have to say the ages that you just mentioned, they know what to expect. Mm-hmm. You can explain it to them. They have a better sense of time. Yeah. When they're babies, they don't know what 2 hours is. They don't know, they can't be in a bed, you know? Yeah. So anyway, we hope that we gave you guys good advice, and we appreciate everything. Lola Sex Part 2 will be after this episode. So just to digest the first one. And we thank you all for your support.
Oh, and also, anybody who's watching or listening, could you tell we have new mics?
Yeah, we fancy motherfuckers now.
Yeah.
We are fancy.
We are definitely love hearing everybody's feedback. Obviously, this is a learning thing for us, and we know that audio is such a big thing, and hopefully you can hear us and enjoy our voices.
Yes.
So much better.
And we have been getting feedback on people you know personally that you would like to see on the podcast that you think is a good fit for us.
Keep them coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
DM us. Thank you so much, and have a real motherfucking good day.
What?